Hi, I'm Libby, and I'm going to be sharing some of the causes, results, and consequences of World War I. The first causes are militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. A determination to constantly be the superior country caused tensions between them to rise. Another main cause was the impact of German paranoia. The Germans were scared of an attack from Great Britain, so they increased their aggression, which caused Germany and Britain to intensify their arguing. Once the war started, trench warfare became a popular way of fighting, which was unlike the conventional ways of fighting in the past. This involved digging elongating trenches to gain inches of territory. Another advancement was the invention of poison gas. This was new to war, so it was an unconventional way to kill thousands. This continued to be a prominent weapon in the years to come in World War II. Gases would cause bodily fluids to excrete and lethal rashes and skin lesions to form. Switching to women, before the war, women were still seen as inferior beings and that they still belonged at the home, taking care of children and taking care of household chores. But when the men went to war, this all changed. Because of the lack of men, women needed to fill factory jobs, and some even became nurses, firefighters, and ambulance technicians. They gained a higher status that would continue in years to come when they gained the right to vote. Before World War I ended, Europe's borders looked like this, when the German Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire were two distinct and powerful forces. This changed after the borders were reshaped after they were defeated. The collapse of the Russian Empire created Poland, the Baltics, and Finland. The Austro-Hungarian Empire dissolved into Austria-Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. When the Ottoman Empire collapsed, Turkey was established. The German Empire became Germany, and Germany lost substantial territory outside of Europe. Unlike in the past, where resources were spread throughout different areas of the government, during the war, European nations focused all of their resources into the war effort. They needed everything that they had available in their country to support their causes by making the best weapons. The costly war affected Europe's economic status and pushed them back a few years, because with the money spent on war efforts, these countries could have improved education and infrastructure, furthering their own countries. Before all the fighting, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and Austria-Hungary were known as some of the most powerful countries in Europe. But because of Russia's withdrawal and responsibility going to Germany, things shifted. Germany lost tons of territory outside of its borders. Germany and Austria-Hungary, because of their great defeat, they lost power because the Allied powers were controlling everything that they could do because of the Treaty of Versailles. In previous fighting, arguments, and wars, cannons and simple guns were used. Now the war introduced new weapons such as rifles and machine guns. These revolutionized artillery attacks and made the casualty numbers skyrocket because of their effect. Another weapon, the mortar, was used before, but in a more simplistic way. It continued its use the same way but was able to fire more ammo faster than ever before. These advancements in tech just kept getting better over the years after the war was over. Compared to the joyous art pieces that were popular before the war, art during the war shifted into a gloomy, dark, and melancholy period. Art was driven by expressionism. Paintings during the war would depict the horrors of war, where they would draw disfigured men or mourning families. This did continue after the war, but wasn't the most popular style. This kind of style regained popularity during World War II. Speaking of art, literature changed dramatically as well. New novels gave up on the previous feelings of excitement about the war and focused on the hopelessness of a war-ridden society. Unlike previously, where it was about going off to war and being a hero for your country. Philosophers during this time turned to existentialism and buried themselves into the idea that there was no real meaning of life. This idea declined in popularity and regained fame during World War II. Overall, there were many shifts over time with social and political aspects in Europe. One of the major outcomes of the war was casualty numbers spiking to about 35 million and Germany taking full responsibility. I personally think the most important outcome was the Treaty of Versailles, because it left the future of Germany unknown and was left with the continuation of the formation of the Allies, which can be seen as a threat to Germany as we see what happened in a few short years.